What's a good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. So, Mekhi Becton, our favorite new project for the New York Jets in this rebuilt offensive line that we're trying to move forward with for Aaron Rodgers. He earned himself some praise after this Carolina Panthers game from Robert Saleh during a time where, for the most part, there hasn't really been great news from the coaching staff to the player in forever, right? Probably since he, debuted in his rookie season. Everything else since then has kind of been a snowfall of problems and misinformation or misconceptions, at least from our standpoint on the outside looking in about, some of these recovery timetables, what's actually happening, and then the true plan for him, right? Is he still viewed as a starter on this team, or is he viewed as damaged goods? We're trying to upsell him for whatever trade value we can get, or we're actually looking to see if he's in that Zach Wilson bubble where if he performs well, we'll try our best to keep him, and if not, it is what it is. So he's coming off this Panthers game. We know the Hall of Fame game against the Browns, he was only able to last for 11 snaps, 7 on the offensive line. He went back in later in the game for 4 plays on special teams. For this game, though, he was able to go out there and play consistently. 27 snaps, I want to say about mid-ish way through the first quarter, jumping in there, of course, not as a starter, but as part of the second string unit. And he did fairly well, right? He was one of the only players, or the only player, I should say, for the New York Jets to allow a sack, which came via Amari Barno, the Panthers' 2022 sixth-round pick. But we also know he's still knocking off a ton of rust after a 2-year absence. And even with the sack, everything else that you've seen on film looked pretty solid for a guy that, again, has played one game in the last 2 years, and has spent most of his time either rehabbing or working on some positional stuff, and that was mostly footwork, and not having a chance to really go up against a lot of live, in-person player versus player kind of settings. So it's been good to see, let's say we're talking about 35 or so reps here. It's been good to kind of see that the quality is up there for us. Now, as Robert Saleh mentioned, we're really just looking to see that the confidence in his knee is there, and we expect that the rest in terms of the skill set and what he's going to bring talent-wise will work itself out. But Robert Saleh did say he fought through, obviously played a lot of reps, actually played a lot more than we were planning. He wanted to go more, which is promising. He took a really, really big step today. So there's 2 things working in Mekhi Becton's favor if he wants to go back to getting a starting job. The first one is that Billy Turner has been pretty abysmal, and maybe it says a lot still that Mekhi Becton has been able to steal that starting left tackle spot from Billy Turner, who's also been swapping sides with Max Mitchell. But I think it more so is in line with what we've heard from Robert Saleh. Let's get him through a game. Let's get him through a week of practice. Let's get him through, drills and all of this kind of stuff to make sure his conditioning is right, and that we're not going to, put all our chips into one basket and then see them crumble because he needs to come out of a game. So slowly but surely, we're working things up here. So you have that in favor. Billy Turner's looked awful. I think from a talent perspective, Mekhi Becton's definitely looked better than him from what we've seen so far, and it really is just a matter of Billy Turner will still be the more available prospect out of the 2. The second thing is Dwayne Brown's still on the PUP list, and per Robert Saleh, we're not expecting him until probably right up against that Week 1 start against the Buffalo Bills, and maybe not even then. So there's still time for Mekhi Becton to go out there, 2 more preseason games, show that he can make it through a game, earn this coaching staff's confidence, and he could potentially get both of these guys beaten out for that left tackle job if the same things that we've seen so far are still in place, right? Dwayne Brown will be coming off a PUP. He's going to have been out after, he's been out for months after dealing with a very significant injury and then, of course, getting the surgery. So if you want to call it apples and apples, you don't just want to throw him back into things, even though Robert Saleh and staff seem like they're comfortable with it. But I think that's more so a panic reaction to what the offensive line has looked like. you don't want to just throw him in. So if Mekhi Becton can come in and start, and then if he's not looking as great as you like or anything, cool, you have Dwayne Brown in the wings there. But that does throw up a lot of question marks about what this final line will look like, considering we're not going to be carrying, 5 or 6 tackles on this roster. So interesting to see the situation that he's in here. It's worth mentioning as well that he did earn himself a shout out from Michael Carter during a post-game interview as well, where he, pretty much paraphrasing here, said that he's been working well, doing all of the right things since, returning back and reinvesting himself into this team. So I'm, for one, still on the Mekhi Becton boat. This isn't a Denzel Mims type situation. We know what Mekhi Becton is going to do when we line him up against some of these guys. It really is just a matter of can he make it through the rigors of an entire NFL season? Much harder done than people think. There's definitely a lot of comparisons all the time to DeBrooke Ferguson and that Iron Man streak that he had. But there's a lot of freak plays that happens, legs getting rolled up on, all of these different things. And to have multiple major injuries to the same leg at the weight that he's at puts him in a different kind of category from very few people walking on earth, let alone the NFL, that'll know that same struggle. So either way, let me know what your guys' thoughts were. How did he do versus the Panthers? And do you think he can end up earning a starting job if Dwayne Brown doesn't come back from the PUP list before our Buffalo Bills Week 1 start? And I'll catch you guys again. Peace.